Hi Phil, Kendall, Carter just joined.
Hi, Carter. How are you?
Good. Phil, thanks for letting me know about this meeting. I'm joining for the first time, looking forward to it.
No problem.
Morning or good afternoon.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How we doing?
Hello.
Hey,
I'll go ahead and pull up the
lovely popcorn.
agenda, and then we can get started.
What?
Okay, let me share my screen. Cool. Okay, so we got a couple of things today. I think it'll be interesting and exciting that we've moved to an hour. We can end early if we finish early, so we're not trying to definitely not trying to expand to fill the time. But this way we can give the needed amount of discussion, especially for these two things. Okay, so Arun and I chatted, and he is going to try and make the second half of the meeting now. So what we can do is actually do it in this order. Alex had mentioned that the original author, Arseni, would be available to give us an overview of this proposal. Any chance that you're on the chat?
Yeah, I think Arseni is
Yeah,
in the
I'm
call.
here. Yep, I'm here. Hey guys.
Cool. Do you want to, so I figure what we can do is if you want to give us like a 5 to 7 minute overview, that'd be super helpful. Then I can give a short overview of this as well. And then I think the main thing that we'll talk about today is nailing down the path to code ownership and explicit processes and timing for the TSC elections.
Okay.
If you want to take it away, I'll stop sharing and you can take it away.
Yeah, okay, hi. So the idea behind is just to give possibility for the plug and play for onboarding new small cells. So because right now, as you know, there should be a really good user. It's not a housewife who can do this. So the idea is, so for new small cells, just plug and play, and all the initial lookup will be done automatically. And configuration of small cells will be done automatically. And also for the future scalability, all the firmware updates shall be done in automated way without any user involvement. So we propose to start with a few particular models. So the engine will be developed, and to prove that it's working, we proposing to go with the 4 particular small cell models. This will be enough to prove that it's working. And after this, any other vendors will be able to add their vendor-specific logic for any small cells. So that's all. So the particular services which propose to change, it's inode and control proxy. All other things will be done like a new services for onboarding service. And this will be committed to the upstream Magma for everybody to be able to use it for their releases. So like a quick overview. And absolutely, the idea behind also to support the current behavior. So there will be possibility to have an auto discovery disabled. So, and the users will be able to configure everything manually as it today. But if you configure the auto discovery enabled, so this will be done in automatic way. So just in a high level, 2 minutes overview.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we have a relatively, sorry, a pretty detailed proposal and design doc that I can just show real quick. Let's see, for people that are interested. Yeah, and with call flow diagrams, etc. So, and then Alex is the code owner who is shepherding this effort, and yeah, Freedom Phi is the one pushing it forward. So yeah, excited for this. If you are interested in the work or have any comments now would be great, but comments and or interest in the work, please feel free to get involved by commenting on the proposal.
Thank you for the detailed proposal.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you, Arseny. Just wanted to provide some additional comments on top of what Arseny already touched on before ending this topic, Hunter. Just wanted to make also the comment that what these enhancements are basically targeting are for managed NLB devices. We are not targeting unmanaged NLBs, since basically we have the dependency that we need the TR69 communication for basically automating this onboarding of the radio devices, and also for applying the firmware updates into the NLBs. So I just wanted to make the comment that what we are basically targeting are just for NLBs that are managed by the Magma Access Gateway. Unmanaged are not included on the proposal.
Cool. Okay. Any thoughts, questions, or inputs for this topic? Okay, cool. Appreciate. Thanks, y'all. So let's go ahead and hop to the next item. Let's see. So this is a publicity-oriented item. This is a design doc that we'd written up previously for how distributed tracing could work for Magma as a whole. The idea here being we have minimal visibility into how requests traverse our deployments, especially deployments that have multiple nodes in topology. For example, debugging requests between the FEG and the access gateway that are proxied through the orchestrator requires a lot of a high amount of domain-specific expertise, even to just begin like triaging what the issue is. So yeah, the end goal, the vision for this design doc would be you can for any request in the network get an overview of how it where it basically the path it took throughout your deployment. So that would include like which node it's on. So for example, orchestrator, FEG, access gateway, which services it touches, which databases it hits, and with which statements, and as well as any concurrency and latency durations and things like that. So that's kind of the North Star for how we would envision this working. And then I can give a little bit of detail on how that would work in practice. So part of the reason for bringing this up is, the main reason for publicizing this now is this was something that the Canonical folks that I've been in contact with were interested in hearing a little bit more about, given that they're working on metrics for Magma, among other things. So yeah, the overview is we want to use two technologies, open telemetry, which defines the format that we want to use for these spans, and which is how we're going to how we report where in the topology and where in the distributed call graph the request currently is, and then Jaeger as the implementation that handles reporting, collecting, and querying the aggregated spans. So the overall architecture would look something like this, where we have two components that we care about, or two conceptual functionalities. One is collecting spans from the orchestrator, and the other is collecting spans from gateways. So for orchestrator, we would have a Jaeger operator that inserts a Jaeger agent as a sidecar into each service, and those will handle implicitly reporting to the orchestrator-oriented Jaeger collector the spans for each of these services. And then that gets stored to Elasticsearch as the backing store, data store. That's pretty straightforward, run-of-the-mill. The slightly more interesting thing that we would be doing here is we would have a Jaeger collector also for gateways, and the Jaeger agent would be on the access gateway. And it would handle aggregating spans from services and then reporting them to the orchestrator's collector. And then there would be, if you have admin permissions for the orchestrator, so that would either be someone with an admin cert currently, or eventually we could add the capacity to access this through the NMS. If you are an admin within the NMS's view of users, you'd be able to see a view much like this one. Yeah, so that is the architecture that we'd have in mind. The summary of the pros and cons is this will work great for our Golang code. And it will be kind of the idiomatic way for implementing this. the major con is there's really not a good way to do this with the way that our C code is set up. And we're running into issues with that, issues with the way our C code is structured in a lot of other attempts to provide monitoring and things like that. So yeah, it's just going to be a question of how soon can we. I chatted with Oriol recently, and he believes that this can still have a high value, even if it just even for the FEG orchestrator side of things with minimal access gateway reporting. But yeah, I think this will, to some degree, take a dependency on us figuring out how we want to handle refactoring the bulk of the C code that we currently have. Anyways, okay, so that was that. Mostly for publicity purposes. If you have inputs or opinions on how this should work, definitely please either get in touch or preferably make comments on the doc or on the issue. And yeah, we're not taking any immediate action on this, but per my discussions with Oriol, we are considering whether this should be added to the Q1 roadmap. Okay, thoughts, questions, inputs at this point? Cool. Okay, so the next thing is circling back on the path to code ownership proposal. So the idea here is currently the path to code ownership is described succinctly as you need to be nominated by an existing code owner, and that's all the information that we provide. So given that we would like the community to grow on our side, but also that there are a healthy number of people, of contributors within the community that would like to become code owners, we need to explicitly communicate what it looks like to grow to the point of receiving a nomination from an existing code owner. So the updates from the last time that I presented this is this paragraph right here, which was an input from Scott, I believe, which basically is reassuring people that we're not looking for someone to be an expert either in Magma as a whole, especially, but also you don't have to be an expert in a particular component to be a code owner for that component. We just need someone who is can provide concrete value. Yeah, and so this is more like a listing of the things that we would like to see, but it's a flexible rule of thumb rather than an explicit dogmatic list of absolute requirements. So yeah, I think what we can do now is open it up for any discussion, and then we can end with taking a vote, and the outcome of that would be putting this into the Docusaurus. So yeah, thoughts and inputs on whether this is the right approach to how we should communicate the path to code ownership, and then the specifics of these points.
Hunter, this is Kader, and it says that reach out, but to whom, Hunter? Is there any specific person that we have to reach out for the nomination?
Yeah, so the idea would be just starting a chat in the governance code owners channel, and sort of stating the desire, and then someone in the code owners channel can be the shepherd for that request.
Thank you, Hunter.
Hi, it's Ildiko here. Just a quick question. Would it make sense to add the documentation to the contributor guide?
Yep, definitely. That would be that's the intent, or that's my thought on where a good home for this would be.
Okay, cool. No, you just mentioned the Docusaurus, and then since we are moving the contributor guide either to GitHub Wiki or someplace else, then I just wanted to make sure that we are on the same page on this one. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So yeah, let's take a vote then. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I, you
And-
might, based on the question, I've had this challenge in the past too. You might figure out how to make the action of this more pulled out. The comment in the governance code owners. I know you have it, so if everyone reads everything, they'll see it. But and then reached out is mentioned below. So based on the question, I think maybe I don't know what the good solution is for this generally, but like when I was doing the process document for the tech debt week, I was trying to find like explicit
levers.
here's your action, bold text, reach out on governance code owners or whatever, anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a really good input. When I convert this to the Docusaurus, I will edit this slightly to be clear on like, here's the button to press to initiate the process.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, sounds like we have 3, which is majority. So we'll go ahead and accept, and I'll handle the rest later. Okay, so the next thing is this was something we briefly chatted about last time, and kind of filling in the blanks that were intentionally left underspecified in the Magma governance charter, and adding a list of like fully specifying the TSC lifecycle. So I think what I'll do is what we can do is just have a brief like 60-second silent read, and then I can kind of overview and we can have discussion from there.
Can people read the text? Is it okay size? I'm okay, but just checking broadly.
Yeah, let me know and I can zoom in.
Hey, Hunter, the comment, there's no consideration for quorum, motions required yes votes from 50% of eligible voters. Would you intend that to be present voters or attending voters if you intend to eliminate the quorum?
Sorry, can you
Greater than 50% of eligible voters means 50% of the TSC members, 50% of the TSC members in attendance. It's ambiguous the way it's written.
Gotcha. So yeah, in my mind, no consideration for quorum means like, I see what you mean. To me, greater than 50% of all voters that could conceivably vote. So in this case, it would be if
so of all TSC members.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I can clarify that.
Yep.
Okay, so I think maybe now's a good time to open it up to conversation. I think the 3 points that might be worth touching on is that doesn't immediately follow from what we currently have in the charter, is the phase adjustment for TSC members. So right now what we have is everyone's has a 1-year term and everyone was elected at the same time. So we could have potentially complete turnover. So what we would do is have a one-time phase adjustment such that everyone is such that the turnover election occurs, or that the turnover occurs at a rate of one person per month. So that'd be one thing. The other is where we're not considering quorum, so that we would need a greater than 50% vote. If the voting body is the TSC, you need a greater than 50% vote from considering the entire TSC. And if the voting body is the co-donors, same thing, which is what we currently do, which is greater than 50% of all co-donors need to vote yes. And then the third thing I'd say would be the description of how do we handle like disagreements within the community. How do we flag things, and yeah, what's the default path for flagging if the TSC is having an issue? So yeah, thoughts and inputs on this. Cool. Okay, sounds good. Phil, does this look like something that would fit into your view of how we could evolve the charter? And would this need to be, what would be the voting requirement to add this to the charter?
It is reasonable. TSC can modify its own charter subject to approval of the governing board and the Linux Foundation. It doesn't mean that you need to go get their approval. It just means that they are able to object. So really, it's up to you by TSC vote.
Cool. And then does it need to be majority vote, or does it need like 4 or 5 out of 5?
I don't think the existing charter requires a supermajority, but let me take a quick look. Yeah, I don't think it requires a supermajority.
Oh, okay, let's see, 2/3.
Oh, does it say 2/3? Okay.
So let's see. So we would need 4. And so how many, do we have 3 or 4 present right now? Let's see. All right, looks like we have 3. Okay, well, we can do this offline then. I'll send out a vote on the mailing list. But yeah, given that there's no, everyone seems, that there's minimal discussion, it seems like everyone is on board enough at least to send it out to a vote to the mailing list. So yeah, I'll kick that off in a bit. Okay, so I didn't see Arun on the chat yet. So the next thing we can do is just briefly touch on, Jessica, is any chance that we have an update from the DevOps side on
not yet. The meeting that was supposed to happen got canceled. I think it was because it was close to the Thanksgiving, so it actually got canceled. So I'm hoping that this week it will resume.
Cool, sounds good. Okay, we can bump that to next time then. So yeah, we actually I think made through just about everything, barring this. I don't see a ring yet. So at this point, does anyone have any ad hoc items that they'd like to bring up, especially like if anyone from the community has any items they'd like to bring up and we can discuss, and then we can go from there. Cool. Okay, sounds good. And looks like we got through everything. Appreciate everyone taking the time to talk through this, and I'll send out the updates from what we talked about, and then yeah, we'll see everyone in 2 weeks. Cool.
Thanks,
Bye.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hunter.
Bye.
Hey, Cater, how are you? Can you hear me now? Yeah, call me back if you can hear me.